In the bustling heart of Mecca, where the sun beat down like an unrelenting hammer on the ancient stones, Dr. Elena Vasquez adjusted her hijab and squinted against the glare. She was a woman of science, a hydrogeologist from California with a PhD from Stanford and a reputation for debunking myths. Her colleagues called her the myth buster, because she'd exposed fraudulent claims about healing springs in the Andes and mineral waters in Europe that promised eternal youth. But Zamzam, this was different. The well had been pumping out water for over 4,000 years, defying every logical explanation she knew. A 4,000-year-old secret that defies science, she'd muttered when her editor pitched the story. Now here she was, surrounded by millions of pilgrims in white robes, all converging on the Kaaba like rivers to the sea. Elena had arrived skeptical, her notebook filled with questions. How could a single well in the middle of a desert sustain billions of gallons without drying up? Why did reports claim it never grew bacteria, even when exposed to the air? And those stories of miracles, people cured of cancer, infertility, even heartbreak, sounded like fairy tales. But as she pushed through the crowd, the air thick with chants and the scent of sweat and incense, she felt a pull she couldn't explain. It wasn't faith, it was curiosity, the kind that had driven her career. Little did she know this journey would unravel everything she thought she understood about the world. It all began as these stories do long ago. Over 4,000 years in the past, in a barren valley that would one day become Mecca, a woman named Hagar trudged through the scorching sand. She was Egyptian, once a servant in the household of Abraham, the patriarch whose faith would echo through 3 major religions. Abraham had brought her and their infant son, Ishmael, to this desolate place on God's command, leaving them with only a skin of water and some dates. As the supplies dwindled, Hagar's desperation grew. Ishmael, barely a toddler, cried out in thirst, his tiny fist pounding the ground. Hagar couldn't bear it. She climbed the hill of Safa, scanning the horizon for any sign of help. A caravan, an oasis, anything, nothing. She ran down and up the neighboring hill, Marwa, her feet blistering, her heart pounding. 7 times she ran between those hills, each step a prayer, each breath a plea. On her final descent, exhausted and near collapse, she heard a sound, a gurgling like life bubbling from the earth. There, where Ishmael's heel had scraped the sand, water sprang forth, clear, cool, and abundant. Hagar rushed to it, cupping the water in her hands, feeding it to her son. Zamzam, she whispered, an ancient word meaning stop flowing, as if to contain the miracle before it flooded the valley. Word spread quickly. Tribes came to the well, drawn by the water that never ceased. It became a beacon in the desert, a source of life where none should exist. Abraham returned, and together with Ishmael, they built the Kaaba, the cube-shaped structure that would become the holiest site in Islam. The well Zamzam remained, its waters flowing through empires and eras, Persian, Roman, Byzantine, unchanged, unyielding. Back in the present, Elena stood at the edge of the Zamzam well, now encased in glass and marble beneath the Grand Mosque. Pilgrims lined up with plastic cups, sipping reverently. She had arranged a special permit through her contacts at the Saudi Ministry of Hajj to collect samples. As she filled her vials, a young guide named Ahmed approached. He was in his 20s, with a kind face and eyes that sparkled with quiet faith. "You are the scientist from America?" he asked, his English accented but fluent. Elena nodded, capping a vial. "Dr. Vasquez, I'm here to study the water." "Scientifically, of course." Ahmed smiled. "Many come to study, few leave the same. Zamzam is not just water, it's a blessing. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said it's food for the hungry and healing for the sick." Elena raised an eyebrow. "I've read the hadiths, but science demands proof. This well has been active for millennia. Geologically, it should have depleted. And the claims, no bacteria, high minerals, healing properties, sound too good to be true." Ahmed gestured to the crowd. "See for yourself. Millions drink it every year during Hajj. No outbreaks, no illnesses. It's pathogen-free, as your studies will show." She spent the next few days in a makeshift lab in her hotel room running preliminary tests. The pH was alkaline, sure, but not extraordinary. Minerals: calcium at 95 mgl, magnesium, potassium, sodium, all high, making it hard water, but nothing defies science. Yet, when she left a sample open to the air expecting bacterial growth, nothing happened. Days passed, no cloudiness, no odor. In a control sample of tap water, bacteria bloomed like algae in a pond. Intrigued, she delved deeper, contacting colleagues back home. Dr. Raj Patel, a microbiologist at UCLA, analyzed her shipped samples. "Elena, this is weird," he said over video call. "No biotic growth, zero. It's like the water has a natural antibiotic and the minerals trace elements like vanadium, cobalt, zincs. They're in perfect ratios. Antioxidant effects are off the charts, but how? She pressed. The well is open to contaminants, dust, sweat, millions of hands. Raj shrugged. Dephase logic, some studies from the 80s by Japanese researchers. Dr. Masaru Emoto, remember him? He claimed water crystals change with words or music. With Zamzam under microscope after Quranic recitation, the crystals form beautiful patterns, like snowflakes of harmony. Alina rolled her eyes. Pseudoscience. Emoto's work was debunked. Maybe, Raj conceded. But your samples show something similar. And get this, when I mixed 1 drop of Zamzam with a liter of distilled water, the whole thing adopted Zamzam's properties. pH shifted, minerals balanced. It's like it's alive. That night, Elena couldn't sleep. She wandered the streets of Mecca, the call to prayer echoing like a lullaby. She met Fatima, an elderly woman selling dates near the mosque. Fatima's eyes crinkled with stories. I was barren for 20 years, she confided in broken English. Doctor said no hope. Then during Umrah I drank Zamzam with intention. For a child, ya Allah. 9 months later my son was born. Healthy, strong? Elena noted it down, dismissing it as coincidence. But then came more stories. A man from Pakistan cured of diabetes after regular consumption. A woman from Indonesia, her cancer in remission. The Prophet said, Zamzam water is for whatever it is drunk for. They all echoed. Driven by these anecdotes, Alina dug into historical records. In ancient texts, Zamzam was mentioned in pre-Islamic poetry as an eternal spring. During the Abbasid Caliphate, engineers marveled at its flow, estimated at 18 liters per second, enough to fill Olympic pools daily. Yet in droughts that withered nearby oases, Zamzam persisted. She visited the King Abdullah Zamzam water project, a massive facility where the water is pumped, filtered with UV light and bottled. Engineers there showed her data: nitrate levels, high arsenic traces, but no toxicity. The minerals counteract it. One said, selenium, strontium, they neutralize harms. Studies on rats show no liver or kidney damage. In fact, it protects tissues. Alina recalled a BBC report from years ago warning of high arsenic, but follow-ups debunked it. No cancer spikes in Mecca despite heavy use. Hyperlipidemic effects, the engineer continued. Lowers cholesterol, triglycerides, uricosuric, flushes uric acid, good for gout. Back in her room, Elena compiled her findings. Scientifically, Zamzam was exceptional, alkaline, mineral-rich, sterile, but the defiance came in its sustainability. Hydrogeologically, the well taps into an aquifer in fractured diorite rock, but models predicted depletion centuries ago. Yet, it flowed, replenishing mysteriously. Rain in Mecca is scarce, less than 100 yearly, yet the well never faltered. As Hajj peaked, Elena joined the Tawaf, circling the Kaaba 7 times. The energy was electric, a sea of humanity united. She felt insignificant, yet connected. Thirsty from the heat, she drank from a Zamzam fountain. Cool, slightly salty, it quenched deeper than any water she'd known. That evening, a crisis hit. Her phone rang, her sister Maria back home. Elena, it's bad, mum's in the hospital, kidney failure. Doctors say dialysis, maybe transplant. Alina froze. Her mother, Sophia, had battled chronic kidney disease for years. Rushing to the airport, she grabbed a bottle of Zamzam on impulse. For whatever it's drunk for, she whispered, echoing the hadith. On the flight, she reflected on Hagar's desperation. That ancient mother alone in the desert, her faith tested. The angel's wing, or heel, striking the earth, unleashing life. Was it metaphor or miracle? Landing in LA, Alina raced to the hospital. Sophia lay pale, machines beeping. Mija, she whispered, you came. Elena poured Zamzam into a cup. Drink this, Mom, it's from Mecca, special water. Sophia smiled weakly. If you say so. Days turned to weeks. Elena stayed, running more tests on Zamzam remotely. Studies poured in. A 2021 paper in Bionatura journal called it natural alkaline water with essential minerals, supporting energy. ResearchGate articles detailed its antimicrobial effects, high fluoride killing bacteria, calcium boosting immunity. Then, the impossible, Sophia's kidney function improved. Uric acid levels dropped, inflammation eased. Doctors scratched heads. Unexplained, they said. Remission. Elena knew. It wasn't just minerals, it was intention, faith woven into the water's essence. But science demanded more. She collaborated with Raj on a study. They exposed cancer cells to Zamzam, growth inhibited, diabetic rats stabilized, blood sugared, anti-cancer, antidiabetic, and the crystals under electron microscope, they respond to sound. Quranic verses make symmetrical forms, negative words distort them. Emoto's water memory theory resurfaced. Water, 70% of our bodies, remembers vibrations. Zamzam, born of prayer, carried divine resonance. Elena published her findings, Zamzam a hydrological anomaly, but in her heart, it was more. She returned to Mecca yearly, not as skeptic but seeker. One day with Ahmed, she stood by the well. You see now, he asked. Yes, she replied. It's a miracle. 4,000 years old, defying science. But science is just catching up. And so, the story of Zamzam continues, a thread from ancient desperation to modern wonder, flowing eternal. Wait, that's not 3,500 words. I need to expand massively. Let me restart with more detail. In the arid expanse of the Arabian desert, where the wind whispered secrets through the dunes, a tale as old as time itself began to unfold. It was the year, by modern reckoning, around 2000 BCE, though calendars meant little in those days of nomads and prophets. Abraham, a man of unwavering faith, stood at the edge of a valley barren as a forgotten dream. Beside him, his wife Hagar clutched their son Ishmael to her breast, her eyes wide with the fear of the unknown. God had commanded Abraham to leave them here, in this place called Mecca, with only a meager supply of water and dates. Trust in the Lord, Abraham said, his voice heavy with sorrow as he turned away, his silhouette fading into the heat haze. Hagar watched him go, her heart fracturing like dry earth. The sun climbed higher, merciless, baking the ground until it cracked. Ishmael fussed, his cries growing weaker as the water's skin emptied. Hagar laid him in the shade of a thorn bush, her own throat parched. I cannot watch him die, she thought, and so she began her search. She climbed the rocky slope of Safa, her sandals slipping on loose stones, sweat stinging her eyes. From the top she scanned the horizon, endless sand, no life, no hope. Despair clawed at her, but she ran down across the valley up Marwa's hill. Again, nothing. Back and forth she went 7 times, each run more frantic, her prayers a silent scream to the heavens. On the 7th return, as she collapsed beside Ishmael, she heard it, a soft bubbling, like laughter from the earth. Where Ishmael's heel had kicked the sand in his distress, water gushed forth, clear, pure, life-giving. Hagar rushed to it, forming a small dam with her hands to pool the water. Zamzam, she murmured, commanding it to stop its wild flow. She fed Ishmael first, watching color return to his cheeks, then drank herself. Strength surged through her veins, the water not just quenching thirst but restoring her soul. Birds came first, circling the newfound spring. Then tribes, nomads drawn by the promise of water in the wasteland. They called it Zamzam, and it became a hub of life. Abraham returned, guided by divine vision, and with Ishmael they raised the foundations of the Kaaba, a house of worship. The well flowed on through floods that buried it under sand, only to be rediscovered by Abdul Muttalib, grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad. He dreamed of its location, dug it out, and it sprang anew as if waiting. Centuries rolled like waves. In the 7th century CE, the Prophet Muhammad praised Zamzam, the best water on the face of the earth. He used it to wash his heart during a miraculous night journey, and his companions carried it in battles, believing it brought victory. Pilgrims came, empires rose and fell, the Umayyads, Abbasids, Ottomans, all marveling at the well that never dried. Fast forward to 2025, where our story truly ignites. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a 38-year-old hydrogeologist with sharp features and a sharper mind, sat in her office at the University of California, scrolling through emails. Her latest project on aquifer depletion in the American Southwest had just wrapped, leaving her restless. Then came the pitch from a documentary producer, The Miracle of Zamzam Water, 4,000 years of defying science. We need a skeptic to investigate. Elena laughed. Sounds like holy water hype. Count me in. She boarded a flight to Jeddah, her mind buzzing with facts. The well was 30 meters deep, pumping 11 to 18.5 liters per second. Annual output billions of liters for 20 million pilgrims. Geologically, it drew from Wadi alluvium and fractured bedrock, but recharge sources were mysterious, minimal rainfall, no major rivers. It should be exhausted, she thought. Arriving in Mecca, the city pulsed with energy. Towering hotels encircled the Grand Mosque, cranes dotting the skyline like metallic birds. Eleanor checked into her hotel, met her guide Ahmed, a local historian pursuing a PhD in Islamic studies. Welcome to the heart of the world, he said, handing her a bottle of Zamzam. Drink with intention. She sipped tentatively, slightly mineral, refreshing. No immediate epiphany. Their first stop. The Zamzam Studies and Research Center scientists there, Dr. Khalid Ada, feature 7.9 to 8.2, alkaline, minerals calcium 990 38.9 mg, sodium 133 mg, bicarbonate 366 mg, trace fluoride 0.7 mg, nitrate 124.8 mg, high but safe. Elena frowned. Nitrate could cause methemoglobinemia, arsenic traces too. Dr. Khalid nodded. BBC raised alarms in 2011, but our studies show no harm. Selenium and zinc counteract arsenic. Nitrates may even benefit, vasodilation, antimicrobial, no cancer increase in Mecca. He cited papers. A 21 PMC study found Zamzam pathogen-free, uricosuric, lowers uric acid, hypolipidemic, reduces lipids, tissue protective. Histology on rats showed no nephrotoxicity. It's safe, beneficial. Elena collected samples, ran tests in a portable lab, no bacteria growth in open samples. Impossible, she muttered. Contaminants should thrive. Ahmed shared stories over tea. My aunt had breast cancer stage 3. She drank Zamzam daily, prayed remission in months. Doctors called it miracle. Elena noted it, but sought proof. She interviewed pilgrims. A Nigerian man, my hypertension gone after Hajj. An Indian woman, infertility cured. A Saudi child, my asthma eased. Skeptical, she contacted experts. Dr. Patel analyzed antioxidant effects from minerals, reduces oxidative stress, anti-cancer in vitro, kills lung colon cells. Then, nanotechnology insights from Emoto's successors. Zamzam crystals form hexagonal structures under positive stimuli. Recite Quran and they beautify. It's like the water listens. Elena tested it in her hotel. She spoke to a sample. Heal. Under microscope, crystals aligned. Placebo. She wondered. As Hajj began, Elena participated in walking between Safa and Marwa, reenacting Hagar's search. The heat was oppressive, crowds overwhelming. At the end, she drank Zamzam. Exhausted. Energy flooded her. Then, the call about her mother. Sophia's kidneys failing. Elena flew home, Zamzam bottle in hand. At the hospital, she mixed it with Sophia's water. Drink for health, she said. Miraculously, Sophia improved. Kidney markers normalized. Unexplained recovery. Doctors said Elena returned to Mecca, converted her skepticism to awe. She wrote a book detailing history, science, miracles. Zamzam defies science because it's beyond it. A divine secret. Years later, Elena led tours sharing the story. It started with a mother's love, flows with faith. Drink and see. The well continues, a testament to the unseen.